welcome to the Parkland Report. My name is Stephanie Stewart, Vice President for Communications and External Affairs here at Parkland College. And this is the show where we talk to the people making things happen around campus. Today I have two guests, one from the Parkland Foundation and another from our Support for Workforce Training program. But first, I will welcome Tracy Wahlfeldt. She's the Executive Director of the Parkland Foundation. Welcome, Tracy.
Thanks, Stephanie.
So tell us a little bit about the Parkland Foundation, just our viewers that may not know a lot about what the organization does.
So the Parkland College Foundation is the fundraising arm of the college. So it's a place for people to make contributions, to make an impact on a student's life and their educational journey, and maybe even on programs and departments here within the college. So that's what we do. We do fundraising. I like to say it's the best job on campus because people give us money and then we get to give it away. It's like being the fairy godmother.
Do you have big checks in your office that you hand out like Publishers Clearinghouse?
We do. We do have some big checks. So that's a fun place, is to have that big check in hand and take those pictures and celebrate those donors who have generously given of their time and talents to make those happen.
That's great. So let's talk a little bit about the gifts, because I know giving away the money, that's the gratifying part. It supports our students. But talk about your donors, because I think there may be some misconceptions that you have to come with a really big check to be a donor to the foundation. But talk about our donor base and kind of what their gifts look like.
So yes, those great big checks are always fun, but every dollar counts and makes an impact on a student's life. So we have gifts, $5, $10. We've had our largest gift, I think, was a $1.5 million gift here this past year. But every little bit helps. And if you think about a textbook costs about $100 roughly. So a $100 gift can buy a textbook for a student. So a lot of those things, and quite honestly, people feel so good when they give those dollars. And especially if you have a scholarship fund and you hear from those students and they tell you their life story and they tell you what an impact you've made on their life, it really does touch your heartstrings.
No, that's wonderful. And we have so many members of our community who have attended Parkland throughout time. But we talk a lot in community colleges about affordability, and we really have quite affordable tuition compared to other institutions. But that kind of means that their dollars go further here at Parkland. Can you share kind of about what does $1,000, let's say, what would that pay for a student?
So $1,000 will pay for a part-time student to go for a semester. So really $2,500 just about covers an entire semester for a full-time student. So if you think about half. So those dollars really do go a long way. So again, you don't have to give a lot to make a big impact. Some donors choose to endow a scholarship. An endowment is $10,000 at Parkland College. So a lot less than maybe a much larger institution that people might see out there in the community. So again, you can build those up a little at a time and still make a big impact on a student's life.
That's great. And so Tracy, you're also not new to community colleges from when you and I joined Parkland College actually around the same time. So I feel like we're tracking on that same timeline. But where were you before, and how did you find your way to community colleges?
So prior to coming to Parkland, I spent about 10 years at Danville Area Community College in the same role as their foundation director. Prior to that, though, I had worked in economic development, I had worked in human resources, I worked in manufacturing, and so I had a very broad background. But when I came to community college, because I had that community knowledge, I knew the impact community colleges have on a community's ability to thrive and to grow. From my economic development days, and actually even from human resources. We're developing the workplace of tomorrow, and love community college. And you don't have to look very far to see what an impact community colleges have. When I'm out and about in the community, everybody says, "Oh yeah, I took a class at Parkland," or "I went there." I did. Right out of high school, I got my CNA license because I thought I was going down the medical path. Changed my direction, but it was a good place to get started.
Yeah, absolutely. So many students share their stories, and it's great to see the impact that a scholarship or just the college can have on their lives. But you actually have a unique position in that you get to read some of those scholarship applications. And so what are some of the stories? Like, what are some of the best stories or just most compelling things that you've learned about our students?
So many of them say, gosh, a scholarship allows me not to worry about my finances and lets me focus on my schoolwork. A lot of them are parents. So they're trying to balance school, their children's lives, maybe their children's school. And so it gives them that time to spend some more quality time with their families. Maybe they don't have to work as many hours. We had a student emergency request, so we do have a student emergency fund, where the student's house had burnt down. And so we were able to replace all of her books. So we were able to take that burden off of her, one less thing for her to deal with, and so that she could continue to go and get her education. A lot of people say they do their homework with their children. So they're setting an example for the future of our community. And so, you see these stories time and time again. Some people have come from very difficult situations, seen people who are homeless that are going to school. And, this is the way they're going to turn their life around. And community colleges play a big part in that.
Yeah, they really do. I think sometimes if you're not familiar with community colleges, you're really understanding who our students are. It's really coming from all different walks of life, and some of our neediest community members. But we're a way that students can really change their lives and maybe become donors one day from that circumstance. So that's really powerful.
It is.
One of the things you and I get to collaborate on that it's a project I really enjoy, is our Cobra Venture program, and we support student entrepreneurs with those funds, but it's stemming from support from donors. So I wanted to maybe give you an opportunity to share about our Entrepreneurial Founders Fund and share with our viewers what that is.
So we've had an Entrepreneurial Founders Fund for many years. A lot of different donors have built that up. And it supports scholarships, it supports Perimeter Road, AMP, some of our other entrepreneurial programs that we have here at Parkland for our students. And Murray Wise said, gosh, we'd like to do something with the pitch competition and provided dollars specifically for that, which I think you came up with the name Cobra Venture. And it's so exciting to watch these new student business people develop. And they come in with these ideas and how they develop them over really a short time frame, and then pitch that idea to a panel of judges. And then this program has continued to grow with a lot of sponsors who have come in for additional prizes and been able to really kind of get these new business leaders a jump start to their new business.
That's great. Yeah, applications are open right now, and we're excited to give away another big check. This is one of Tracy's big checks in her office, but the ideas are rolling in, and so I've been able to see those. But we're so grateful to our donors that helped to make that program possible.
Absolutely. And then the nice thing is we get to celebrate it at the Entrepreneur of the Year banquet. The winner gets to showcase their business there. So a lot of community members in the audience, and that will be next June, and Victor Fuentes will be our Entrepreneur of the Year that we are highlighting.
Yeah, so we have our budding student entrepreneurs and our accomplished community entrepreneurs coming together. That's been a really wonderful event in past years. So let's talk a little bit about events, because in the fundraising world and really just the community in general, the last 18 months or so has been just a little bit disruptive.
Just a little.
So in a typical year, how could our viewers really engage with the foundation through the events that you do regularly?
So in the fall, we have a Creating Impact event, and this year it's gone virtual for reasons we just cited. So the week of October 25th, each day, Monday through Thursday, we'll be releasing a new video that highlights some students talking about the impact student or scholarships have had on their educational journey, highlights a few donors who talk about why they give, and then asking people who view to also make an impact by a gift to the foundation. And that is really our one and only scholarship fundraiser of the year. So that one usually is an in-person event. We have an Athletic Hall of Fame that's usually in the winter time. We're tentatively planned for January this year. We have a scholarship reception in the spring where we bring donors and students together. The Entrepreneur of the Year banquet, which we have, and then we have some events that are either they're not always annual events. So we have Arbor Day, which is in April, which is in every other year. The Parkland Society, which is every 5 years, which will be next spring as well. So we do some events that are off years, aviation reunion, since we have the Aviation Institute. So a lot of great things. It's a way to bring the community together. People can always give. Any other time, we have our annual campaign where letters will go out to individuals asking them if they would be willing to support the foundation. So you can do that online at www.parkland.edu and /foundation, and you can get to the donate page, or you can always mail a check.
Always mail a check to Tracy
Always,
Wahlfeldt.
That's right.
At Parkland College. Well, Tracy, thank you so much for coming on the show today. It's really exciting to hear about what the foundation is up to and how you're supporting students.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah. All right, we'll go ahead and take a break, and when we return, we'll welcome Alicia Beck, the Director of the Support for Workforce Training Program.
Hi, I'm Leanne McPike, and I'm the CTC Director, and the CTC stands for Computer Technology Center. When we have students come into the CTC, our main goal with us, our 3 professors that work in the CTC, is to make sure that these students feel welcomed and to know that they can be successful.
The CTC program is great. All the teachers are very supportive. So you do online at your own pace, but they're also here to help you, and the lab is here.
Going in during those lab times, the assistant that was there was always very knowledgeable, was always very able to help me through if I got stuck or if I needed any assistance.
Leanne and Kelly are really great to work with. They're always there when I need questions answered.
I love the instructors. They are very supportive and they're very kind, and any questions you may have, they're there.
We offer 26 different courses. Most of them are 1-hour courses for our students, and 4 of those courses are computer information system courses, and those are actually 3 to 4 credit hours. 21 of our other classes are 1 credit hours, and those are sequential to equal our CIS courses that are 3 to 4 hours. We also offer a few certificates. Some of them are 6 hours and some of them go up to multiple hours. And a lot of our students, especially adult ed students, come over and start just with a 6 credit hour certificate, and they advance from there.
Well, I've been out of employment, stay-at-home mom for 10 years, and I wanted to show that I do have the office skills. I'm still proficient to make me employable when I'm ready to go back to work.
So I've been learning about the computer skills and the speed, how to type it. And since when I started, so I was kind of slow in typing, but after getting done with almost 6 months, I think I improved my typing skills.
One of the best things about the CTC lab is the flexibility of the classes. So anytime during the semester, a student can sign up for a CTC class and complete it anytime during that semester.
They are at your own pace, and that's been really helpful for me fitting that into my home life. So I can get the class done in 3 weeks, or I can spread it out and do a little bit 1 day a week.
For the most part, yeah, it's pretty straightforward. You just learn the modules each week and study as much as you want. And then you do geometric studying and make sure that you actually do pass the courses first. And then that's when you take a screenshot of it and then send it to Leanne or Kelly, and they'll get you in to take a test.
The CTC offers Microsoft Office Specialist, known as MOS, M-O-S, exams, and those are very accredited exams in which students receive higher paid jobs when they become specialists for Microsoft. And it's pretty important, and our students feel really valued after they take the course.
MOS exam is just basically taking everything that you've learned throughout the semester, making sure that you're taking the practice exams until you're ready is crucial to succeeding. I took both of those MOS exams and was able to pass them on the first try.
Having those Microsoft tools or the Microsoft knowledge behind me makes me a lot more efficient in my job now. A lot of my coworkers and friends will come to me, hey, can you help me fix this Word document? Hey, can you help me fix this data in Excel. And it's nice that I'm always able to, or normally always able to help them do that.
If you want to have a better resume, if you want to feel more confident in your skills, then yes, it's worth it to take these classes.
Joined on the Parkland Report by Alicia Beck. She is our Director of the Support for Workforce Training Program. Welcome, Alicia.
Thank you very much.
So tell us, for those who don't know, tell us about what the Support for Workforce Training Program is.
Well, Support for Workforce Training, which we call SWIFT at Parkland, is a short-term workforce training program for programs of a year or less. It's targeted at individuals who are underemployed and who are underrepresented in the workplace. So that's a mouthful to kind of describe very broadly what we do. It's funded by a grant through the Illinois Community College Board called the Workforce Equity Initiative. And it's a great program that's been very successful statewide, and we're one of 17 colleges that participates in the program.
That's great. So overall, I have the privilege of working with Alicia on this program as well, but really the goal is to move the needle statewide on workforce equity and help students.
That's right.
And also help our region and our state grow. So can you talk a little bit about maybe some of the resources through the Workforce Equity Initiative, because I think those are really powerful.
Yeah, so the program is unique in that we actually are able to provide a broad spectrum of resources to students to help them be successful while they're at Parkland. There's an application process for eligibility. We like to serve at least 60% African Americans, which is part of the Workforce Equity Initiative's goals. And our students receive tuition and books and fees. And in addition to that, we do very intensive advising with our students. So we go to students to provide them with the services that they might need, rather than waiting for students to come to us and identifying what they might need. So they're meeting regularly with an academic advisor, and we start them off right away with a career counselor that is specific for SWIFT students. So if you're involved in the SWIFT program and pursuing a certificate, you'll have the opportunity to work with our career advisor to create what your job search plan looks like, do your resumes, do all of those things. And then we have employability skills involved as well, so that you can learn what it's like to be in the workplace, how you should communicate in the workplace to be the best kind of employee that you can be and to achieve in your career. And then we also, if students sometimes find themselves in obstacles, so let's say there's a housing issue or perhaps a childcare or transportation issue, we can help direct students or provide students with resources for those as well. So it's a comprehensive kind of wraparound service for students that uses, of course, services available at Parkland, but also services that are specific to the program itself.
Great. So can you talk a little bit about how many students the SWIFT program serves in a year, and kind of what the timeline is? Because I know there's also a new opportunity on the horizon.
Yeah, so we do a one-year grant annually, and then we, semester by semester, make awards for students for scholarships. And we typically serve around 50 to 55 students a semester, and that's about 155 to 175 students in a year. Depends on the applicants, the programs, the program costs, all of those things. But typically that's the number of students that we serve. Now statewide, that translates to over 5,000 students that have been served since the beginning of this grant 2 years ago.
That's really powerful.
Yeah, it is.
Can you share with our audience some of the programs that are available through the SWIFT program? So students can enroll and they have choices in those programs, but they're not our associate's degrees. There are certificates and programs that take less than a year. So what are some of those programs?
Right, so some of our programs are as short as 4 days. Like, for example, if someone wanted to do a forklift training with us, they can get a forklift certification in 4 days. And then there's programs that are around a semester to 2 semesters long, and those, or 4 weeks, which would be our CDL program, which is truck driver training. It's a very popular one, actually. Truck drivers are very much in demand right now. Or if you're wanting to get your certified nursing assistant, that takes about a semester to do. There's the welding certification that you can do with us right now. We also have a certification in Google IT support, which if you're looking to be involved in technology or supporting technology, that's a great pathway to start on. We also have office assistant certification that is basically 2 semesters to complete, and that's a great opportunity for folks that are wanting to get into the business world, that are looking to start off and maybe they want to be a secretarial position or office assistant, administrator kind of position. It's a great pathway. We also have offered in the past pre-apprenticeship programs for construction, and we're kind of looking at redoing what that might look like a little bit, and which kind of brings us to the new opportunities that we're looking at. We're excited to be entering into our 3rd year of the grant, so we'll be looking at new opportunities for certifications for in-demand careers locally. One of the things that we do is look at what's out there for job postings and what's coming up for workforce demands. What are we as a community going to be seeing for the jobs that are available? And then matching up our certification offerings with what's going to be in demand and what kinds of jobs are going to be out there. So looking at new areas in construction that we can provide certification in, as well as continuing to develop our career technical opportunities that are going to be offered in the semester. So that our next application period is actually going to begin in December of this year, November, December of this year. And our next round of awards for those applications will be for January. So students that want to begin in the new spring semester in a certification course will be able to start in January of 2022. So we're looking forward to application submissions, and we'll be posting soon about that on our website at Parkland. Yeah.
Great, that's exciting. Yeah, to get more information about that. And the Workforce Equity Initiative came about a couple of years ago in 2019 when the Legislative Black Caucus really developed the program. We work very closely with Representative Ammons' office, and so it's really been exciting to see it continue after the first year, and it's becoming a mainstay at the college. And recently, your office made a move due to some other shifts happening in the college. So can you talk about where people can find you on campus now? Yeah, so we were super excited to be moving to the D Wing. And if anyone's familiar with Parkland, they know that D120 was formerly what was called CAS. All of the services that were housed in CAS have now moved to the Learning Commons in the library, and so we're very excited to be moving there along, or we have moved, and we'll be sharing the space with adult education. So they'll be moving from their building into our space, and we'll be able to have students move back and forth between our services and share resources. So we're very excited about having them as a partner and being sort of as central in the college, welcoming students who have maybe not traditionally been considered Parkland students, but really are Parkland students. And we want them to know you're a Parkland student and you belong here. And we want you to be a lifelong learner with us. So you're coming to us in these capacities, but there's lots of opportunities available to you once you finish off with your adult education courses or your SWIFT class. You know, there's more opportunity for you here at Parkland. I'm one of those people. I came back to Parkland and started a new career, and I was a personal trainer for a number of years, and then I came back to do this program. So I'm very excited about that opportunity for people to be able to learn new skills and then take them out and test them and grow and develop, you know, with Parkland classes. It's very exciting. Very exciting. Yeah. And adult education is a partner in the grant as well. Can you share a little bit about the bridge classes that students can, and maybe the scenarios when who would enroll in a bridge? Yeah, so there's a number of opportunities for students that are maybe haven't completed their high school equivalency exam, or didn't finish their GED, or maybe they're coming to us who have needs to learn English language skills. And so folks that maybe need a little bit more in the classroom for those areas, we can help connect you with a bridge class with adult education. And what that means is you'll be studying the content, or you'll be learning the skills to bring you up to the levels that you need to be successful in the classroom, whether that's language skills, math skills, reading skills. And you'll be learning within the framework of your
chosen career path. So if you, for example, want to be a CNA, you will be talking about and learning about using medical terminology within the context of raising your skills. So if you need to learn English language skills, you'll be learning the medical terminology for that's necessary for a certified nursing assistant. And then what that does is prepare you, gets you ready to be in the classes for your career training, so that you are you ready to be able to learn and you can ready to be able to achieve. We want you to be successful, so we'll give you the tools so you can be successful and get you ready.
That's great. And some of our Bridge students are able to get some of the same supports as SWIFT students. So can you break down, like, what is that from a financial perspective? What does that look like for SWIFT students and then our students that are maybe pre-admitted and are in adult education?
Yeah, so we talked a little bit about how students get support with tuition and fees, things of that nature, but we also provide students with an attendance stipend. So as long as you're attending your classes and you're progressing along, doing the work you need to do, you're able to also receive an attendance stipend. So our students that are in the Bridge classes, who may be attending adult education and readying themselves for the SWIFT certifications, they are also able to receive one of those attendance stipends for going to their classes. And then also you have access to our career advisor and you have access to our academic advisor to help you think about what your next steps are in your career planning. So we're really here to support the whole student from their journey, from the very beginning to their career. And we want to make sure that we're helping students find where they need to start at Parkland. So maybe it's not right away with the certification. Maybe there's a little bit of training or a little bit of preparation to get into that certification. So we want to financially support you and also provide any of the social supports you might need in order to get to that point.
And we've seen some great successes. So what's a SWIFT success story or impact that the program has made that you could share with our viewers?
Well, I've seen a number of students do amazing things where they've come to us with some ideas about what they'd like to do, but then we help them hone their ideas and help them get down their certification path. And some students come with a very clear idea what they want to do, and that's fantastic. But I think there's a couple really shining moments that stick out for you. There's lots of them along the way, but we have one student, for example, who came to us and he decided to get his truck driving license, and then along the way he's actually started his own small trucking firm, and so he has taken it from being an individual truck driver to actually being a truck driver with other truck drivers working for him, and so that's really very exciting. We have another student who, and we've seen this with other students as well, but as an example, a student who came to us that had previously experienced some physical issues, had a stroke, and then was needing to figure out a new job career path. And so we were able to assist that student in finding the career in technical support. And so she finished a certification with us. She was working and then recently got what we call an apprenticeship, where has another job, but she's actually getting more classes paid for as well while she's going to school. And so she's furthering her career in the technological field. So there's real growth opportunity from where you start with our certifications. Our certifications are entry level, and then there's growth paths right from there. So it's exciting to see the students that have been able to take advantage of the services that we provide and really use those to drive themselves forward.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's why we're here.
Exactly.
That's what Parkland is here for. So it's amazing to see all of that manifest really in the SWIFT program and to see it grow into the future.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on the show today, Alicia.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, and that's it for this episode of the Parkland Report. We appreciate you spending time with us, learning about how Parkland's engaging the community in learning, and we'll see you next time.